Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now is the part where I have to pick a question of the video. Question of the video, not question of the day, because I do more than one videos in a day sometimes. Okay, this is one that I'm actually really excited about asking you guys because I love sweet things. Here's the question. You finished your meal, but you realize that you need dessert. What is your go-to quick or easy dessert idea? Let me know because I love dessert, I love ice cream, I love chocolate. I want to know down in the comments what your favorite dessert is for the times that you just need something sweet in your life. And before we get started in my storytime video, I first of all need to pick a storytime to do. I have several. Also, it would be great if you guys could subscribe to me and leave me a big old thumbs up. It really helps out my channel and it'll help you guys out because these storytime videos are about to be awesome or lit.
I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna.
So this storytime video is going to be all about the time that I almost lost my leg playing co-ed softball. Oh my gosh. And you guys, this is not even clickbait, like I promise. This is 100%, like I could have lost my leg because I was being stupid. Let me give you guys a little bit of background information on co-ed softball before we begin. So co-ed softball is where you have boys and girls playing softball, and pretty much that means that the rules are a little bit different. For instance, like for some reason, if you're a girl, you get to run like more bases, or I don't know. It's really confusing, and it was the only game that I ever played of co-ed softball. First game, my last game, you know, the only one I ever played. And it's not really taken very seriously in a lot of places. This wasn't like an actual league. It was just like literally come and play for us. They don't have uniforms, or at least the team I was on, we didn't have uniforms. We didn't have like hats. We didn't have anything. We didn't even have a team name. That's just a little bit of insight on like what kind of game this was. It wasn't serious at all whatsoever. Like you could probably bring alcohol and like drink alcohol and play softball at the same time if you wanted to let you guys kind of set the scene of what this was. Also, you should know that the field we played on was like, it was almost like cat litter. There's dirt fields and there's like cat litter fields, like where it's like literally like not pebbles, but like if you go and get like really big cat litter rocks, that's pretty much what it's like. Usually softball fields are like that. Not really sure why, because they hurt a lot, as you guys are about to find out. They suck. I used to work at Chipotle, and my Chipotle, my managers, every Wednesday night or evening, they would go and play co-ed softball, and it was kind of like a Chipotle team. So a bunch of Chipotle workers from a bunch of different Chipotles would go and play against just other random co-ed teams that didn't really have to do anything with Chipotle. They were like, hey, like, we need another player. We need like a girl. Do you want to come play on our team? And I was like, sure. If it gets me Wednesdays off, like, why not? So the first day I go, I wear just like a normal shirt. I wear some shorts, my tennis shoes, you know, I bring my bat, my glove, because I played baseball. Here's a little background information for you guys. I played baseball on the boys baseball team in high school because we didn't have a softball team, and I was the only girl for I think 1 year, and then we had another girl for the next 2 years. But we got to play on the Royal Stadium, like on Kauffman Stadium, 3 years in a row. So, I mean, I knew my stuff about baseball. I grew up playing softball, but once high school hit, it was baseball, and I kind of was really bad at softball from then on. So this was like slow pitch softball. The ball is barely moving in the air. This is what that was. So it was hard to go from competitive baseball to like non-competitive co-ed softball, and for some reason I was really nervous. Like I felt like I was just gonna let everybody down, even though it wasn't even serious. Like literally nobody cared how you played. Like there's people who were playing that had never touched a softball before in their life, but for some reason I was just so nervous that I was gonna mess everything up and everyone was gonna hate me, and yeah, I just had really bad anxiety about it. You're in the middle of this game, and I think I'm on like second base, and somebody hits the ball straight down the left field line, or the left base line. So like if you're standing on home and you see third base over to your left, it went right past the third baseman and into left field, the outfield. I didn't have a lot of time to run from second base to third base because there was somebody behind me, so I had to go. So I was like freaked out. I was like, oh my god, like if I get out, like everyone's gonna hate me. Like obviously that wasn't the case, but I just thought like this was my first game, like I had to prove myself, you know, to these people that I worked with. Me being the hardcore baseball player that I was like running, and then all of a sudden I turned on my side and I slid into third base. And it was cool because I made it and it was great and everything, but then when I got up, like my leg was from like my knee down on my left leg. I'm gonna fix you guys for a second. It was all like, you know, bloody. It was scraped. I think I have a picture that I'll post like right here to show you guys what it looked like right after. So it wasn't bad. It was just like literally just like a little scrape. Like it wasn't even that big of a deal. I wanted to clean it off with water because obviously like I just slid in a dirty, like, you know, who knows what happened on that third base area, this dirty area, right? So I am like, okay, I'm gonna go wash off with the water bottles that they have. Okay, I didn't even look at the water bottles. I'm pouring this water all over my wound and it stings so bad. Like, I'm like, oh my god, like, what did I just do? Like, oh my gosh, like, I was freaking out. These water bottles were lemon water. It was lemon water that I put on my leg, and there was no pure water, like, anywhere. Nobody had just regular water. Everybody had this lemon-flavored water. And I'm like, who brings lemon-flavored water? Like, where do you even get that? I put lemon flavored water like all over my leg, and then it starts bleeding. Like it was just bleeding really bad. So, and it wasn't even that bad. Like the picture, it literally was not that bad. So I covered it up with my shirt. Like I literally wrapped my shirt around my leg and went back out there and continued to play, just because like it hurt really bad, but it wasn't like so bad that I couldn't play, you know. And I didn't want to be like that wimpy girl that like slid on her first. I wanted to redeem myself, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, the game's over and I go home and I showed my dad. Oh crap, I keep kicking my tripod. Okay, I showed my dad my wound and he's like, you need to clean that with hydrogen peroxide like ASAP, or rubbing alcohol, or whatever you clean wounds with. So I'm in the bathroom and this thing like spans like this much of my shin. Like it's big. I'm just like doing a little bit at a time and it hurts so bad. Like I'm literally biting a towel while I'm doing this, and I spent an hour just doing little strips of my leg at a time because it hurt so bad. Like, oh my god, literally it hurt so bad. And he was like, just do it all at once. And I was like, no, like that's gonna make me faint. Like I'm not even kidding. I don't know if I was being wimpy or what, but it was literally so, it hurt so bad. And so it gets done and everything, and I didn't really quite know what to do with it, so I think I just wrapped it with like a bandage. And then, and this was like in the summer, so I didn't have to go to school or anything, but I did have to go to work. So for the next like week or so, I'm like going to work, and the bandage, like there's like leakage coming from it, and it's like dripping down my leg. And it was really weird because, you know, like in the picture I showed you, it was just the scrape and like there was just little lines of like scrapage. Well, now it was like the whole entire area that was scraped up was just all one giant wound. It wasn't individual scrapes, it was one giant wound. Like somebody had taken like a cheese grater and just grated off one big strip of my skin. And it was so weird because like I think my hair follicles were like exposed or something, because I would just get goosebumps all of a sudden in just the area that was scraped up. And why is it not just healing, you know, like scabbing from the outside? And it was starting to really worry me, but I just kept putting like medicine on it, you know, every day, trying to keep it moist. Like I looked up stuff on it. Like I don't know, maybe that was the wrong thing to do, was to keep it moist, but I just know like it wasn't scabbing in a good way. It was scabbing in like a bad way. I don't know what it was doing, but it was not good, whatever it was doing. It was like, it just was not good. So my boyfriend, he told me that his family was going down to Stockton Lake, which is about 2 hours away from Branson, Missouri. So, and at the time I thought that, well, he didn't tell me Stockton Lake, he said Branson. So I was like, oh my god, like we're gonna go to Branson, it's gonna be so much fun. So his dad knows how to fly planes. So I begged him, I was like, babe, like please, we have to go. And I begged my dad to let me go, and he did, because like obviously like it's one thing to let your kid go go out of town with her boyfriend and her dad, or and her boyfriend's dad, but it's another thing to like let her go with her boyfriend when her dad is going to like fly a plane to Branson. And it was like one of the 4-seater ones, so like I could have totally understood like if he told me he didn't want me to fly there, if he wanted us to drive. But then if we were gonna drive there, my boyfriend didn't want to go because he just didn't want to drive there. So anyway, my dad said yes to being able to fly there, so we flew there. My leg is still disgusting. Like, it was summertime and I'd walk into a gas station and everyone would just stop and like stare at my leg, and I'm just like, hey, like, I know it looks bad, but it's really not that bad. And it did kind of hurt to walk on it too. So I mean, like, this was actually really bad. Like, it was starting to get really bad, but I didn't care. Like, I wanted to go to Branson. So we get to this lake, we land and we get to this lake, and it turns out that I thought this was Table Rock Lake. I didn't know that Stockton Lake and Table Rock Lake were two totally different things, which they are, because they're 2 hours away from each other. Branson sits on around Table Rock Lake, and Stockton Lake is another lake that's 2 hours away from Branson. So we were at Stockton Lake. So I was thinking in my head that Silver Dollar City was just across the lake. It was summertime and I wanted to go swim in the lake. So we go out on a boat and we go and swim. And I tried my hardest to keep it dry. Like, I put waterproof bandage after waterproof bandage on it, and I just tried really hard to keep it as absolutely dry as I could. Obviously it did not work out because I was submerged in water, lake water. Like, there's bacteria in this lake. Like, who knows what is in this lake, what kind of diseases are in this lake, and I just have an open wound on my leg. Like, it's nothing I can keep out of the water, it's just open, and it's probably really infected by this time. And I just remember like being at our cabin, and I went to Walgreens and I got non-stick bandages because every time I would bandage it, I would peel off the bandage to change it, and my scab would come off with the bandage. And so I got these non-stick ones that looked like little pillows, but they were like a weird material. They were really smooth. And I put them on there one night. They just stuck to my leg. Like, I didn't have to tape them down. They just stuck to it because it was disgusting and gooey. I remember the next morning, I couldn't get them off because it was supposed to be non-stick, but the pus had dried into a scab, and I couldn't get the bandages off, and I didn't want, like, the bandages to, like, I don't know, I thought that they were just gonna grow into my leg, like if my skin started regrowing like around it, I don't know. So my boyfriend and I spent like literally an hour in there, and I was on the phone with my mom and I was like, Mom, I can't get these bandages off my leg. Like, I was like crying and it hurt so bad. So my boyfriend ended up having to like wet a paper towel and like spray water and like loosen up the scab and make it gooey so that he could peel the bandages off. Every day I thought that this is gonna look better tomorrow, and it never did. So it was kind of really weird. Like, it was really scary and really weird. I don't think I have any more pictures of the scab or of the wound, like when it was infected and when it was gross. So anyway, we get back home after, like, we flew to Branson for like a few hours after we left the lake and did like the little go-karts, and then we flew back home. And when we got home, like the next day, I went to this little pharmacy off the square in my town, and it was like a little family pharmacy, and I was like, they'll probably have something, you know, I can put on my leg or some antibiotics or something that I can take to help the infection go down. So I go in there and the lady was like, oh goodness. She was like, you need to go to the hospital. And I was like, oh my god, like really? Like, my heart just dropped and my stomach dropped, and I remember just going back to my truck and just crying. Like, I was like bawling. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I'm gonna lose my leg. I was like, this is really bad. Like, the pharmacy wouldn't even help me out. Like, they told me to go to the hospital. So I called my dad and I was like, Dad, like, this is bad. I'm gonna go to urgent care and we're just gonna see like if I get to keep my leg or not, I guess, because apparently it was really bad and I just did not know. Like, I looked it up and it just didn't seem like it was something I should really be worried about. Like, after all, it was just a scrape. Like, there was nothing, I mean, aside from the fact that I was stupid and I swam in a lake with this open wound, but still, like, I just didn't think, like, that would cause that. So I went to the urgent care, and the guy was like, he walked in, and literally, he looked at it for, like, 2 seconds, and he was like, yep, you've got a staph infection. And I was just like, okay, like, what does that mean? And he was like, I'm going to give you a prescription for an antibiotic ointment and just some antibiotic pills. And the ointment is really special. It's really specific to staph infection, so it's very important that you get this specific ointment. So I go to Walmart where my pharmacy is, and like literally right after I go to Walmart where my pharmacy is, and I go in and I'm like, okay, so I need this ointment and these antibiotic pills. And they're like, okay, well, your total comes out to like $99 or something. And I was a teenager in high school, so I didn't have that much money. I mean, I did, but it was like my whole entire paycheck at the time. And so I was like, are you serious? Like, what is it that costs that much? And I was thinking that, you know, maybe the ointment costs $50 and the antibiotics cost $50. No, that was not the case at all. The antibiotics, and I'm not even kidding you, like a full pill bottle of antibiotics, and I still have like half the bottle because I didn't take it all. That was $4. $4 for this little thing of antibiotics, which you would think would be way more than that. But no, the thing that cost the most was the ointment for the staph infection, which was literally like $94. Obviously, like, I did not buy the ointment. I only bought the antibiotics, which is $4. So I went to the counter, the pharmacy counter at Hy-Vee. I went to a different store, not the Walmart. I went to a Hy-Vee. So I went to Hy-Vee and I went to the counter and I asked the lady, I showed her a picture of the ointment that they wanted me to get that was like $94. I was like, what is the closest thing you have to this that I can buy in one of these aisles? And she was like, that would be, you know, the strongest Neosporin we have. So I took it. It was like $10, $14, I don't know. So I took that and that's what I used, and I did get better. Like, my wound healed and everything like that. So I do have like a giant scar on my leg that I'll try to show you guys. Okay, so this, I don't know if you could see it, but this whole thing is where it was. So obviously if that had spread and gotten worse and infected like the rest of my leg, I would have lost probably from my knee down or from my mid thigh down, just depending. Like, I would have lost a leg pretty much if it got really, really bad. So luckily it did not get really bad, and luckily the strongest Neosporin they had actually helped me. So maybe I didn't quite have a staph infection, or maybe I did and the ointment I had was just enough to be able to help me. But one thing I know for sure is that they should not be charging that much for something that could potentially help you save a leg. Like, really, like, that's just how up our health industry is that something that could potentially save your freaking leg is really expensive. It's not even that expensive. Like, I guess if I was like an adult having to buy it, like, it's really not that bad. But as a teenager, like in high school, I was shocked. I was just like, I don't have enough money for this. Like, I could buy this, but then I won't be able to pay for gas. Like, my dad's gonna be really mad at me, you know, just different things like that. So I didn't get it, but everything turned out to be a-okay, and I still have my leg, which is great. Moral of the story is, if you have an open wound, don't go swimming in like water. You know what, just don't go swimming at all, but definitely don't go swimming in water that could have like tons of bacteria. It has fish poop in it. Like, you know, just don't do that. That's a bad idea. If I had not gone there, I probably would have been just fine if I had continued, you know, cleaning it with peroxide and stuff like that. And that's another thing I didn't do. Whenever we got out, like, my boyfriend was like, whenever we got back from the lake, my boyfriend is like, we are going to get you some peroxide and you're going to wash that. And I begged him. I was like, no, it's going to hurt so bad. Like, please no. Like, I'm pretty sure I like panic cried when he brought that up, because I did not. I think we even bought some, and I was just begging him, like, please do not put this on my leg. Like, please, 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 because it hurts so bad. But I mean, that's what you do when you're stupid and you decide to show off and slide into third base without any protectors on. That's why you wear long pants in softball if you're going to be sliding, or at least those knee protectors and shin protectors if you're going to be sliding in softball. So yeah, that is all about the time that I almost lost my leg playing co-ed softball and just being stupid in general. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned a lesson. Don't go swimming in open water when you have a wound. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more story times like this one. I hope this wasn't a complete bore for you guys. Let me know how I did on my first story time. Let me know what I could do better down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it